There are seasons in life when the light fades quietly. It doesn't go out all at once, it slips away in fragments. A little less laughter one day, a little more silence the next, until, eventually, you wake up and realize you've forgotten what warmth feels like. It starts subtly, perhaps with a morning where the sun rises but fails to pierce the haze in your mind, or an evening where conversations that once sparked joy now echo hollowly, like distant thunder without the rain. You notice it in the small things, the book you loved gathering dust on the shelf, the hobby that once consumed your weekends now abandoned mid-project, the mirror reflecting a face that seems unfamiliar, etched with lines of quiet resignation. You move through the day as if underwater. Everything is slower, heavier, distant. You eat because you have to. You smile because you should. But somewhere deep inside, you know you're only pretending to live. The world around you buzzes with activity, people rushing to appointments, sharing stories over coffee, planning futures with enthusiasm, yet you feel like a ghost among them, observing but not participating. Simple tasks, like folding laundry or answering emails, stretch into eternity, each one a reminder of the invisible current pulling you under. Your body complies with the routines, but your essence drifts, untethered, as if the threads connecting you to the vibrancy of existence have frayed one by one. It's not even sadness, not really. Sadness has edges, it feels alive. This is something emptier, something quieter. It's the strange, dull ache that comes when meaning itself slips through your fingers. You look around and wonder how everyone else manages to keep going, how they wake up, brush their teeth, check their phones, make plans as if all of this still matters. You envy their apparent certainty, their ability to find purpose in the mundane, while you grapple with a void that swallows questions whole. It's a numbness that doesn't scream but whispers incessantly, eroding the foundations of what once felt solid and worthwhile. You don't feel broken exactly, just absent, as if your soul stepped outside for air and forgot to come back. This absence manifests in forgotten appointments, unanswered messages, and a growing pile of unopened mail, each a testament to your detachment. You might catch yourself staring at a wall for minutes on end, lost in a fog where time loses its grip, and wonder if this is how it feels to fade from your own story. This is where the shadow begins, not in anger or despair, but in quiet disconnection. Life continues, but you're no longer part of it. You see the world, but you don't touch it. You hear people's laughter, but it doesn't reach you. You want to care, you want to feel, but there's a distance between you and everything that once mattered. Relationships strain under the weight of your withdrawal. Friends reach out, but your responses are perfunctory, lacking the depth they once held. Ambitions that drove you forward now seem like relics from another life, distant and irrelevant. And so you begin to ask the most difficult questions. What is the point? Why should I keep trying? What difference does any of this make? These queries arise in the dead of night, when sleep evades you, or during solitary walks where the rhythm of your footsteps fails to drown them out. They echo in your mind, demanding answers that elude grasp, amplifying the sense of futility that permeates your days. The truth is, there may not be a clear answer, not one that satisfies the mind's hunger. And perhaps that's what makes this pain so unbearable. It's not that life has taken something from you, but that it has stopped giving what it once gave so freely, meaning. This loss isn't dramatic, it's insidious, like a river drying up over seasons, leaving behind cracked earth where water once flowed abundantly. You search for it in old journals, in conversations with strangers, in the pages of books, but it remains elusive, heightening the isolation. But even here, in this stillness, you are not alone. Long before you, others stood in the same place, beneath the same dim sky. Even the Stoics, those quiet watchers of the world, faced moments when life felt unbearably heavy. They knew that despair isn't weakness, It's part of the human experience, the soul's way of asking for truth. Epictetus, for instance, endured enslavement and physical hardship, yet he taught that true freedom lies in accepting what we cannot control, finding solace in the inner citadel of the mind amid external voids. Marcus once sat alone at the edge of his own exhaustion, reminding himself that the value of life doesn't depend on how he feels in a single moment. He whispered to his own heart that even when the world feels empty, the act of being, of breathing, of existing still holds quiet dignity. Life doesn't owe us joy, he realized, but we owe life our presence, even when it hurts to stay. In his meditations, Aurelius reflected on the transience of emotions, urging himself to view them as passing clouds, not permanent skies, encouraging a steadfastness that transcends fleeting emptiness. I remember a time when I felt that same emptiness. I'd wake each morning to the faint hum of the city, but it sounded like a world I no longer belonged to. I'd pour coffee just to watch the steam rise, tracing its soft dance in the air as if it carried secrets I couldn't hear. My body moved, but my spirit lagged behind. Work became a mechanical grind, social gatherings a chore where I nodded along without investment, and nights stretched into endless contemplation of the ceiling's patterns. Bins noticed the change, offering well-meaning advice, but their words bounced off the barrier I'd unknowingly erected. One evening, I sat by the window as the sun fell behind the buildings. The sky burned gold and crimson, but I felt nothing. I told myself, maybe I'm done. Maybe this is all there is. And in that silence, I realized something strange. I wasn't angry about it. I was just tired. That tiredness led me to small experiments, a walk in the park where I focused solely on the crunch of leaves underfoot, or a deliberate sip of tea savoring its warmth. Gradually, these anchored me back to the present, and that tiredness, that deep surrender, became the beginning of healing, not because I found meaning again, but because I stopped demanding it to appear. I let the silence be what it was, vast, empty, but strangely peaceful. In releasing the grip on expectations, space opened for subtle shifts, a bird's song piercing the quiet, a stranger's smile evoking a faint response. Sometimes, when life feels pointless, it's not that you've lost meaning, it's that you've outgrown the old one. Your soul is shedding its skin, what once filled you no longer fits, and that in-between space feels like nothingness. But it isn't nothing, it's transformation. It's the quiet before the dawn. Like a caterpillar in its cocoon, dissolution precedes emergence, a necessary unraveling for new forms to take shape. The Stoics would say that we suffer most when we fight reality, when we demand that the world be different from what it is. But in this stillness, there is no fight left, only acceptance. And that's where freedom begins. When you stop forcing yourself to feel alive, you start noticing the smallest signs that you already are. Seneca echoed this in his letters, advising to embrace the natural flow of existence, finding contentment in alignment rather than opposition. Maybe the meaning you seek isn't in grand purpose, but in small sacred details, the sound of rain, the texture of your own breath, the pulse in your wrist reminding you that life continues quietly inside you, even when you don't understand why. These minutiae become lifelines, the aroma of fresh bread, the feel of wind on your skin, the steady rise and fall of your chest, proofs of persistence amid ambiguity. The Stoic heart learns to see beauty in survival itself, not because the pain disappears, but because it becomes a teacher. Because, in the stillness between despair and endurance, something begins to shift. This shift might manifest as renewed curiosity, a tentative step toward a forgotten passion, or simply the ability to sit with discomfort without fleeing. So if you're standing in that quiet gray space where everything feels pointless, stay. Don't rush to fix it. Don't force joy or chase clarity. Just breathe and let the world unfold one heartbeat at a time. Surround yourself with gentle rituals, a cup of herbal tea, a short stroll at dusk, the pages of a thoughtful book. Allow time to weave its subtle magic. You don't need a reason to continue, only the courage to stay present. And one day, without realizing when it happened, the light will return, not as it was before, but softer, truer, the kind of light that only those who have walked through darkness can truly see. It might arrive in a burst of inspiration, a meaningful connection, or a quiet epiphany during an ordinary moment, illuminating paths you hadn't noticed in the gloom. This evolved light carries wisdom, tempered by the shadows, guiding you forward with a resilience born from the depth.